Death of a Nightingale is new writing for a new century. 19th century stuff is well past its sell-by date in our new global world. Start to think the unthinkable, sin a little, and promote inequality. The pursuit of equality leads to mediocrity. The pursuit of excellence leads to inequality. Play to your strengths with compassion, not to your weaknesses with wishful thinking.
The left's intelligentsia has fouled its own nest in a big way. Clever maybe, wise, definitely not. What really upsets me is the vicious circle whereby many in academia think that difference doesn't matter, give the wrong message to their students, teaching them, as the head teacher Margaret Williamson says in my play, the error of their ways. And then those self-same students themselves become academics and teach the same error to their students. The only way to pass exams to repeat the error, hence never an end to it. The result, so many hope for so much, but end up with so little. Truly a legacy of discontentment. So, what is that error? They ignore totally the multiplicity of individual needs, and in consequence they mess up people's lives and more often than not disappoint their hopes. This is a serious teaching disability. I flag up their myopia, their tunnel vision, and their long-term memory loss. They don't look ahead, they bin uncomfortable facts, and they ignore the lessons of history. Over the years, blacks, Jews, gays, women have been seen as less than equal to everyone else. Society and its laws had to be changed to correct this, with society itself being made more inclusive to prevent their differences being relevant or divisive or in any way prejudicial. Absolutely no mistake here at all. But there are many others who are unequal in our society. Some are less equal. The have-nots in society, the disadvantaged. Some are more equal, the haves, the privileged ones. Very often these will include children with special educational needs, not always in my book disadvantaged. Some actually may be highly advantaged, those who are gifted and talented, but with their own special educational needs all the same. They're all very different with totally different needs. Under the banner of equality and social mobility, egalitarian fundamentalists want to see all of them harmonized, equalized, or, as I prefer to say, homogenized. When you homogenize milk, you force it under very great pressure through very tiny holes. Got the idea? Let me again use their own clear words to describe this. Here are two quotations in notes and quotes in my book that summarize that idea. Phil Willis, the former Lib Dem spokesman for education, said in 2001, "Working in Chapeltown in the late 1960s convinced me that unless we could educate the whole community together, wherever they came from and whatever their needs and disabilities, frankly we would breed dysfunctional communities." Note the words, wherever they came from and whatever their needs and disabilities. Professor Alan Dyson, an arch proponent of inclusion, wrote, "We need for many children to abandon the individualized approach that has become the shibboleth of special needs education. Children with difficulties do not come into schools in ones, they come in tens, scores, even hundreds. Instead of a case-by-case approach, we need robust organizational and teaching strategies, which schools can routinely use on whole groups of learners." An individualized approach, of course, will always be far too liberal for a Marxist-influenced, class-warped, time-warped mind. But their individual differences here, so far from being irrelevant and divisive, are extraordinarily relevant and absolutely critical to their education. They learn at a different pace. They have different interests and abilities, from the highly academic to the severely practical. Those with special educational needs very far from all the same. They need teachers with different specialist skills. There are high flyers and low flyers, but none the worse for that. Everyone can be great in their own way and write their own success story. Excellence can come in very many guises. It doesn't need a degree. It is not to be confused with elitism, but it is not always compatible with equality. It goes right against the grain, the natural grain of society, for the state to try to homogenize all children with a national curriculum, mixed ability classes. Pupils all have to be stretched. But what about the elasticity of their response? Closing polytechnics, technical colleges and special schools, and trying to close grammar schools as well, dispensing with selection and demanding qualified teachers who themselves have been homogenized with their paper qualifications that do not actually qualify them to deal with the multiplicity of individual needs that they have to meet. And when you try to lump all of them together, their differences provide a veritable breeding ground for the bully. Think about it. 9 out of 10 children with learning difficulties bullied in mainstream schools, many of them scarred for life. There are also the bright kids that bullies taunt, calling them swats. Especially think about that if you're a flat earther paving their road to hell with your good intentions, and all in the cause of an equalized society. And what is their chosen method to reach their objective of this wonderful, inclusive, non-segregated, equalized, harmonized, or as I prefer to put it, homogenized society? Equality of opportunity to get to university, in particular to Oxbridge, with preferential treatment for the disadvantaged. A degree, the passport to equality. But is it even that? Ask today's graduates, overqualified for some jobs, underqualified for others, or no demand in the jobs market for the degree at all. And no old boy net to open a door to a job either. Go for it. But go for what? At least ask the question. On top of that, for those high flyers from a disadvantaged background who have to spend many years learning before they can start earning, in the name of equality, there are few, if any, scholarships or bursaries. Instead, a debt on their backs, accruing interest, compound, to pay off when they should be enjoying the fruits of their labours, buying their own home, or putting money aside for a pension.
Social mobility, social slavery more like. Skills shortage, well, nursing just for one. So look abroad and open doors to immigration. Death of a Nightingale is a tale of hopes betrayed, an expose of political folly and ineptitude in education. It now takes in the 2008 credit crunch, with more startling revelations. And it points a way forward. Death of a Nightingale is a provocative play within a book. It's like a Matryoshka doll. It tells a human story with a challenging interplay of fact, fiction, satire and commentary. Order it from Create Space or Amazon. It's a must-read for all students of politics.